Hey, Anthony,
Yeah.
is Trump about to go down because of the Epstein files?
Well, if he ever was going to go down because of the files, the time is now, or rather about a month from now.
How so?
Well, we just had Adelita Grijalva sworn in as a result of the House opening up again after the government shutdown bill was passed. Because she was sworn in, the House was able to get the 218 votes that they needed to pass the Epstein files discharge petition, which is not a final vote on releasing the files, but a vote to force a vote in the House since Mike Johnson was refusing to hold that vote himself. Now that the discharge petition has passed, a minimum of 7 legislative days have to pass before it can be voted on by the House itself, which will probably be in early December. I do expect Mike Johnson to pull some shenanigans to try and delay. A legislative day is not necessarily the same as a calendar day, and the House is not in session every calendar day anyways. So I expect to see him do things like try and close out a calendar day without adjourning the House to drag out the process and how many legislative days occur in between now and when the vote happens. Regardless, there's only so long that he can do that, and there are enough votes in the House currently that the final vote is expected to succeed. Although the Trump administration is trying to pressure, and by pressure I mean threaten, certain House members like Lauren Boebert to change their vote before the final vote passes. I don't think that's necessarily going to do them much good, as 3 additional House Republicans have broken from the Trump administration and come out in support of the Epstein files being released just today, which is a huge indication that tides are shifting in the House, and these representatives, while not necessarily growing a conscience, may have decided that they want to bail off a sinking ship. In addition to that, there is a special election coming up in Tennessee in December. There was some original concern that this election would essentially cancel out Grijalva's vote in the House, but I am hearing a lot of really promising information that this election could actually flip for Democrats, especially after the recent victory we had in the November 4th elections. And the Democrat that is running Afton then is supported heavily by the DNC chair, Ken Martin, as well as independent progressive groups like Indivisible, which are really trying to organize protests and take the fight to the Trump administration, as well as get more progressive and people-oriented members into the DNC. That Tennessee race will be a difficult race, but if she wins, it would even further shift the Democratic power in the House and cement the chance of us having a victory on these Epstein legislation being passed, as well as really just give an idea of really how the public thinks about the Trump administration and the Republicans, even in deep red areas. Finally, of course, we have all the Epstein emails that were released by the House Oversight Committee today. Almost 20,000 additional documents from what has previously been made public. There's a lot of information in those emails, and I'm sure they're still being reviewed, but the most notable emails so far have been between Epstein and Maxwell, and if they are correct, they basically confirm, 1, that Trump knew exactly what was going on at the Epstein estate, 2, that he spent several hours alone with one of Epstein's worst victims at Epstein's estate, which also confirms that Ghislaine Maxwell was lying through her teeth yet again in her recent testimony to Pam Bondi's DOJ when she said that she wasn't aware of any strong relationships between Trump and Epstein and that Trump had never been at the Epstein estate. And they also confirm that Trump, formerly Prince Andrew, and Epstein had scheduled a meeting in London in 2019, shortly before Epstein was arrested, and at a time when Trump and Andrew would have presumably known that Epstein was under investigation. Trump and Andrew were confirmed to have been at that meeting. It is unknown if Epstein attended, but the timing is very damning nonetheless. More files are expected to come out over the next few weeks, presumably to keep pressure up for the final House vote in December and the Senate vote that has to occur after that. But all in all, it is a huge win for justice and a good silver lining on the Senate budget vote, which I know has left a lot of us very disappointed at best and angry at worst. Hopefully this will be the beginning of the end for the Trump administration.